There is so much flying under the radar because the news is chaotic as usual, and we're going to talk about those things today. I'm Mallory Hagan.
And I'm Maggie Gelson Burnett. This is Pretty Furious.
Maggie, you are 1 week closer. 1 week closer to bringing baby home. You've packed your
Yes, thank
bags.
God. The bags are packed. We are ready. Yes. There's literally nothing left for me to do, which led me to deep cleaning my trash cans yesterday.
I saw your post.
Like with a detail brush scrubber thing. Like I used a detailer for it.
That was very necessary.
She's gonna notice.
Yeah.
So
She is going to be
they
like,
have to be
Mom,
clean.
these trash cans are so clean.
You
Can't believe you
fucking
brought me in
heathen.
such a clean home.
Literally.
I totally understand. I went a little bit of a different route. Oh, also, your nursery's done. You've shared
The
that.
nursery's done. Yes, nursery's done.
Yeah, everything's
Uh,
done. If you all are
yeah.
interested in seeing either of those things, you should check out Maggie's Instagram, TikTok, all those places. Especially
Shameless
people are
plug.
so opinionated about what you put in your freaking hospital bag.
In my
Why do
hospital bag.
people care?
I know, I know. People have a lot of thoughts and feelings. My theory is that anything related to motherhood, people love to just give like their 2 cents,
Hmm.
right? Like it's the area where people feel most, I think, confident and comfortable giving their opinion to other people, and very unsolicited opinions at
Hmm.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very interesting to observe that.
What I found interesting, and I genuinely think you'll feel this way, but if you don't, then that's okay too. I find it so interesting how I thought, like, there's so many things I thought I needed because the internet told me I needed them, right? And then I
Right.
actually
Uh-huh.
copied, you know this, I copied my registry from one of my best friends, and then I gave you access to my registry. So, like, a lot of this
Yeah.
is, mom to
The
mom
circle of
knowledge,
life.
like, yeah. But I also found there are so many things that like I've barely touched, or
Yeah.
they're good in theory, but then in practice in my home I didn't need it, same thing.
Totally. Yeah.
um and then on the other side of that, I was very like, I don't need a bunch of stuff in my hospital bag. They're gonna have everything. I'm not gonna be there that long. And then I was there 2 days longer than I was supposed to be. We were going back and
Right.
forth to the house, like, but on the other side of that, none of the clothes, nothing that I bought for him actually fit. So I had no clothes
That's
for
right.
him. I
Yeah.
was wearing the hospital stuff. He was just like living in, I had my mom go out, I think, and grab a new, a preemie outfit because I was like,
Yeah.
nothing that I actually brought is fitting. So it's just interesting how much information there is out there. And like you said,
Hmm.
you love to research. And so did I. I really enjoyed it. And then there are things that I look at
Yes.
in my house every day that I'm like, that's stupid. I never touched that.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
can't
also
wait to
things where I'm
see
like, I would have died without this item. And thank God I
100%.
have
Yeah.
it,
I can't wait to
Um,
see what item I look at that was like hundreds of dollars that I'm like, God damn it. I never
uh-huh.
fucking used
I'm
you.
looking at
Yeah.
one, right? I have one that I'm like, I'm about to put this on Facebook. I mean, it served its purpose, I guess, but yeah. For anyone
Yeah.
wondering, it is and it's not, it's a wonderful idea. I just didn't use it the way it was intended to be used because it didn't work out for our feeding, which is the only reason. If I was exclusively breastfeeding and still, it would be a wonderful item, and that's the hatch changing table. I got it.
Oh yeah.
It's
Hmm.
phenomenal for that purpose. Like being able to weigh your baby before and after feedings, all of that totally makes sense. I never did.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
was like,
For
this
sure.
is too much effort. He's going to eat when he's hungry, and that's going to be the
Yeah, exactly.
but they're
Yeah.
not cheap. Anyway,
I was
this
gonna
long
say, yeah.
diatribe about baby products.
Anyway,
Hmm.
well, a lot of things have gone under the radar this week, Mallory, in terms of the news cycle,
Hmm.
because once again, the news cycle is a shit show. So we have a lot to catch people up on. But before we get into all of that, we want to be sure that you're following us. It's at Pretty Furious Pod, literally everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We host our platform our podcast on Substack. So be sure you're following us there. And then be sure you're following our parent network, The Siren. They are on Substack as well.
Yes. All right.
Yay.
You have a headline that's made you pretty furious this week?
Oh, God damn it. I totally
I mean,
forgot
this
to
show should have been like, what made you happy? Because
God fucking damn it.
Not as great branding.
I actually do have one. So according to there are some reports floating around that I believe it's CBS is considering replacing Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes with Joe Rogan. And I find that
the esteemed and very respected journalist Joe Rogan.
Yes. The very good journalist, Joe Rogan. Barry Weiss literally said, how can I fuck this up as much as possible? Yeah, it is real bad. On the note of 60 Minutes, Scott Pelley was also fired earlier this week. So they want to take Joe Rogan and fill him into these slots. I love Scott Pelley. He just feels, I mean, him and Leslie Stahl just feel like mom and dad of like the US to me. I don't know why. They're both just so lovely. And so, yeah, that's the latest and greatest from the fucking clown show that is America right now. So,
yeah. And Scott Pelley had some classy but choice words for the new leadership. He basically was like, everything behind the scenes has been an absolute shit show. So no one's surprised. However, no. So yeah, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I just can't. Listen, I mean, I think that there are worse people for sure to like take. Like, I really do believe that there are, in the grand scheme.
Well, I mean, the bar for everything is literally underneath hell. So
yes, literally. So
anyone can do anything these days.
Yeah, like I do feel that, you know, I don't want to say like, oh, maybe you could do a good job, but like at least it's not like Nick Fuentes coming.
True. I mean, the truth of the matter is that they're probably trying to reverse engineer the audience that Joe Rogan has,
right,
has gotten, and bringing them back to television in some capacity, which I just don't ever think is going to happen, but maybe. Well, I have two things that have made me pretty furious. One of them is personal. And the other is
I love perfect
news related. And my personal thing that's made me pretty furious is I got my colors done this week.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I would just like to inform everyone that black is not in my color wheel. Can't wear it. Not supposed to.
That's insane.
Very upset by this news. No, it was a really fun experience, and would highly recommend for anyone who's ever thought about going to do that. I know it's becoming more popular, but man, it was a lot of fun. But it was comical. It was comical because when you first sit down to do it, they put them all on you one by one, like all the seasons, and everyone kind of sits there and watches, and then you go through the whole thing, right? She put spring on me, and I was like, ugh.
And I just want to.
And everyone in the room was like, she's going to be a spring because she doesn't want to be. And I was like, that is the most Enneagram 8 thing that I've ever experienced. I am, in fact,
I am looking
a spring.
at the spring color palette. Interesting. I will say,
now that I've had a minute to marinate on it, I'm thinking back to like a lot of the photographs that I have of myself as Miss America, where people were always like, oh my God, I love this picture. I'm thinking to my like lime green highlighter yellow sweater that I always wear, that you're like, that's your color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking to some of these times where I'm like, wow, that is when people often say that I look really nice or pretty, you know? So I guess I'm just going to have to embrace my spring. I just have to go shopping. Oh no.
Would have darn. I would have thought that you were a winter, like for
That's
sure. But
same.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah. No black in my color wheel. No cool for me. Anyway, that's personal, but I just thought I would share it because it's so relatable. I'm like, of course, it's the one that I was like, this is not me. Like yellow. Okay, but just a small aside. I was sitting there and I was getting like worked up about it. And then I started to think, I was like, why am I feeling like this? Like, I'm like psychoanalyzing myself as it's happening. I'm like, why am I so averse to these colors? And I realize it's because most of them are very bright and airy and
Yeah.
light. And when you grow up in a system a la Miss America that is very about being smaller, thinner,
Yeah.
eyes, drawing your eyes in, making yourself look smaller, look smaller, look smaller, I feel like you just naturally start to gravitate towards dark colors. You want black, you
Yeah.
want navy, you want, like things that make you look thinner
Yeah,
than you are.
absolutely.
Be
Yep.
smaller, be thinner. And so I realized that like I never gravitate towards those colors because I am subconsciously going, that's going to make me look fat. That's going to make me look fat. That
Yeah,
color's going to make me look
100%.
fat.
Yeah.
So like putting bright green and yellow in front of me, baby blue, pink, I was like, no, all of those make me look fat.
Yeah.
Like that's where I was going with it in my brain. And then I was like, damn girl, you got to unpack that and also get over it. You don't need to be smaller. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
I'm really
crazy.
interested right now in like the dressing for your body type, which is not groundbreaking in any capacity, but like there's that fuck, now I can't remember the name of it, but it's like that scale of like what your body type is. It's all over fucking TikTok, but it's basically like it's a system that helps you figure out like your body type and how you should dress for it, and like the structure of your body and like how you carry yourself and things like that. And I'm really fascinated by that right now because that's where a lot of people are sort of like, it's the kind of antithesis to like diet culture is like
Hmm.
figuring out instead of like, oh, how can I lose weight and make the clothes, like
Just
make
hang.
myself fit the clothes.
Mhm.
Yeah, like how can the clothes fit me better, which I really
Mhm.
appreciate. So I feel like color analysis is kind of like another like subset of that sort of,
It is, and it's
Yeah.
really crazy because I'm sure people have seen it on TikTok or on video, and video just simply does not do it
Oh,
justice
yeah.
for for the instant change that you see in someone's face. And it was really interesting because we did it in a group setting, so I wasn't there by myself. So I got a chance
Mm,
to sit and watch my mom do it, my friend Tala do it, and like
interesting.
when they pull the fabric away, you literally can see like the light come to someone's face or the color of their skin
Crazy.
change.
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense, right?
Yeah,
But I was
totally.
just like, mm.
That's crazy. Wow.
But anyway, all right. So that was my personal
So
pretty
that's your
curious.
first oh my
That's my first
God,
one.
sorry. That's
I
your
took the
first thing
took
that
the
makes
liberty
you
of being a co-host and I brought two, you know? Took the
What do you
liberty
got
of
for the
being part
second?
owner of this business, baby. Okay, so my headline actually comes from NPR. If you haven't heard yet, which we record on Fridays, guys. So it's Friday, June 5th. This will come out on Saturday, June 6th. So I'm sure you'll have heard by now. But last night, overnight on Thursday, the Senate passed ICE funding. They did it in an 18-hour like marathon of voting with like all these amendments that a few Republicans crossed over for, but nonetheless, those amendments failed. And we have now funded ICE for the next 3 years. Also, we've kept alive Trump's weaponization fund, even though for this entire week they were like, oh, it's dead. So they passed a roughly $70 billion reconciliation bill that's going to fund ICE and Border Patrol through the end of Trump's term. And it, of course, passed along party lines. But the biggest fight that they were having wasn't about immigration at all. Because, I don't know, people getting gunned down in the streets is just no longer at the forefront of our mind. ICE is still out
Yeah,
there doing what they were
right.
doing. We've just moved on to Iran and other things. But anyway, yeah, that $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund is alive and well. It's kicking. So
Cool.
that's making me
Oh
pretty furious.
dear.
You know what else makes me pretty furious though, honestly, is like I do feel like there are several Republicans who keep like at the beginning of this week there were like 30 Republicans who were saying they were against the weaponization fund. They were against
Hmm.
taxpayer dollars being used this way. They would vote against it. And when it came down to it, that's not what happened at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what
when
are
push
they?
comes to
Why?
shove,
Why
yeah.
are Republicans so afraid of this man?
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to, I think for them, mostly money. Like these people
Yeah.
are like, being backed by, it's not their choice at the end of the day. Like, I think it's, which doesn't remove or excuse the decision they make, because it's obviously they have agency over those choices, but like they're fucking doing it to please
I
50
know,
other
but it's
people.
like
It's so
I
stupid.
know that they no longer have any legs to stand on. The hypocrisy and the Republican Party is just that's just the feature. It's not the bug. But
Literally.
it's like it's the my entire life, the Republican Party espoused that they were the party of small government, the party of,
Hmm.
doing what's right with people's tax dollars, taxing less, like all these kinds of
Yep.
things. So to think that they're going along with the president of the United States taking our tax dollars to pay literal traitors to our country is crazy.
Yeah, it's
But
wild. Yeah.
not among all the other crazy things that are happening because
For fuck's
the
sake. Oh
list
my
the list
God.
goes on,
The list goes on, folks.
The list goes on. What's
Yeah,
RFK
we
doing?
have RFK up to some other fuck shit. So basically this week he uh decided that he wanted access to everybody's medical records. Okay. Super sick.
I mean,
Um
HIPAA what?
yeah, we don't know her. So he is pursuing access to large-scale medical records from state health data systems as a part of a federal effort to investigate a potential connection between, drumroll please, vaccines and autism. Which, by the way, like, just in case anybody forgot, we have studied in depth already. And
Like
like,
I
and people with insane pedigree have studied this. People with degrees upon degrees, people who have had decades of experience, decades of work done in this field, decades of data analysis, everything, have already made the conclusion that there is not a connection. But he said, I have other thoughts. So I'm
yeah.
gonna
I engaged
Jesus.
probably I usually don't. I usually don't engage, but every once in a while I find myself commenting on like a news
Yeah,
Instagram,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
they post something and like if it's a person, I almost never comment unless it's like, yes, queen. But
Yeah.
news places I'll be like, wow, these people are fucking stupid. And so I found myself commenting on another vaccine related something. And I said, as I have said here many times, if you refuse a vaccine that keeps your child safe from the measles, from whatever, and they contract that and die from it, you should go to jail. That's what I said. The amount of absolute debauchery that ensued behind my comment.
Yeah.
People are like, "You're stupid. You're telling me you don't know anything." I'm like, "I'm telling you I know that if you actively choose something that kills your child, you should pay for that." It's no different to me than like what you get in a car, you're supposed to have your baby in a car seat and you don't.
Right.
You get in a wreck and you
Exactly.
die. They are going to say, "Why was your baby not in a car seat?" And you're going to go, "Well, I just don't really believe in the science of car seats."
Uh,
That's what you're saying to me.
It's
So all that
fully
to
insane,
say,
yeah.
the reason I said that is it's context. There was a point where someone commented and I said, "What you're telling me is that you think autism is so bad you would rather your child die from the
Yeah.
measles." That's the
Yeah.
logic that you're giving me here.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with having autism?
Right.
Nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
is wrong with it. And the fact that these
Yeah.
people have been so brainwashed into thinking that there is something wrong with people who
Right.
have autism is crazy to me.
Well, and it's like
Hell of a PR
the
campaign.
truly,
Hell of
truly,
a publicist.
autism has the worst worst PR,
Autism needs a new
which
publicist.
which sucks because listen, I am fully autistic. Like I know this. I don't need to like half my family's autistic. But like one of the crazy things about autism is that it also is like incredibly misunderstood as a diagnostic
Mhm.
criteria in the first place. So like when we talk about things like quote the spectrum, People have no idea that the spectrum is actually, my sister loves to, she's a therapist who specializes in working with neurodivergent clients, loves to say, like, the spectrum is not a line, it's a circle. And so I have to think of that all the time, because when we talk about like being on the spectrum includes a multitude of mental diagnoses. Like, it includes
Mm-hmm.
generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. It includes the list goes on and on. So when people
Mm-hmm.
say like, oh yeah, I have like a touch of the tism, or I'm on the spectrum or whatever, it's like, well, okay, you, so thereby what you're doing is taking yourself and lumping yourself in with people who have autism,
Mm-hmm.
because autism spectrum disorder is, that's what it's called. So it's a spectrum, and it's not, there is no like one way of being when you have autism. And so like that's what I think people are, what makes this argument so stupid is that like what people are saying by proxy is that they don't understand the
Mm-hmm.
diagnoses. They don't understand the criteria that comes with getting a diagnosis for autism. So it
I
really
mean,
is
did you
just
expect the
mind-boggling.
man who has a brain worm to understand
Fully.
anything about autism? Having access to our medical records is really concerning, because this isn't about studying autism at all. This
No,
is about
fuck
gaining
no.
access to our to our medical records, sensitive material. This will allow them to potentially sell back this information to other companies, to data, to potentially insurance companies. I mean,
Oh God, yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
lot there's a lot that could go wrong here by having this
Yeah.
level of access to our lives and to our medical records.
And if you think that something like this isn't going to impact, I don't know, women's healthcare and
Mhm.
what women are doing for birth control, or for if they're having an abortion or anything like that, like, you're out of your mind. That is absolutely, should just be assumed at this point that that is a piece of this puzzle as well. So
But also, like,
um
maybe,
yeah.
all of the programming that this administration has cut, all of the science research, all of the women's studies research, like, of all of the things that they're determining they want to fund, the connection between vaccines and autism, like, it's not,
That's a choice.
anyway.
You know what's so funny too is that like what they'll probably discover is that like the entire cabinet is like autistic. Like
I
so they'll probably just be like, "Oh fuck." Anywho,
That would
um
be the least of all of their worries as individuals.
exactly. Exactly.
What else is flying
There
under the radar?
well, there is somebody, Mallory, that I would like to talk about this week who I am finding delightful on social
Yeah.
media.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Biden is absolutely doing work on social media this week, and I love him for it. I'm gonna pull up quickly something that he posted on Twitter. This is my favorite tweet that he has released this week. He was replying to somebody and he says, if you're not watching on video right now, it's a picture of him smoking a cig, taking a selfie, and he says, "Do I look like I'm part of an elite oligarch class? This was taken at a Super 8 motel off I-95, by the way." And I posted this on Threads, and I said, Hunter Biden is, this is the hottest picture I've ever seen of Hunter Biden.
He looks
And
like
the
he looks
internet
like
is
you
going
remember when
nuts
you were
over him.
younger and there was always like a bad guy or bad boy in high
Yes.
school that you were attracted to, even though you shouldn't be, and like you knew you would never really date him seriously, but you really kind of wanted to just for the experience.
100%.
That's what that's giving right
This
now.
is Hunter Biden right now. So I have just been loving it. He has been all over Twitter just being hysterical. And I'm pretty sure that there is like a petition now for him to join Threads. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it.
So he's just like on, it's like kind of a Trump level tirade on
Yeah.
on X.
100%.
Actually,
100%.
oh my God, I'm on X realizing I don't even follow him. Um he's really funny. He this string of things came from, he posted like a video of Trump and was like, the MAGA whisperer strikes again, and just has not stopped at all. But my favorite he said, wait, did he just say checkered past? I'm 28 felonies, 6 bankruptcies, and an Epstein bromance short of his checkered past. Talking about Trump. And then there was another one where they were like, didn't you leave drugs in the White House? And he was like, I would never leave my drugs. Like, you obviously don't know addicts. And then there was another one that he was like, they were talking about him something about cocaine, and he was like, no, I was smoking crack. I would never waste cocaine like that. I mean, he was just like, it was hilarious. Anyway,
great.
If you haven't had a chance to check out Hunter's tweets, do yourself a favor. That's been really hilarious.
Incredible.
Someone I want to talk about is Graham Plattner.
Ah, the Graham Plattner and
Deep
Susan
sigh.
Collins, really, of it all. Yeah, deep sigh.
Deep sigh. You know, here's the thing. He's been problematic since like day one. The whole like Nazi tattoo situation.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? I feel like we kind of glossed over that a little too quickly.
Absolutely. This is why this episode is about things that are under the radar, because I feel like he just like keeps white man failing up, and
fully.
And he shouldn't be here. But this week another story came out about him having sort of a checkered past with women, and I have to say, we talk a lot about believing women and, you know, making it such that victims don't come forward because of the way that they're treated. That and this story is a little light. It's a little like, well, he was scary. All that to say, though, this past week, there's all these texts that are coming out that he's like sexting with people that aren't his wife. Then his poor wife. Oh my God, I feel.
And didn't he say, like, we were going through a hard time, like, or something?
They've only been married for 3 years.
I'm like, where?
So she gets on and she's like, I love him. I knew when I married him, he had PTSD, but he's changed. He goes to therapy. I go to therapy. We go to couples therapy, blah, 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 blah. I mean, just like on and on. There's like a 5-minute video where she was like, it's just embarrassing to have the media trying to attack our marriage. And it's like, girl, this man is trying to be a senator. And one of the things that we used to do is have standards for people who ran for office.
And
so
also, like, God damn it, dude. Like, these people who are trying to run for office, I just keep thinking to myself, like, it's the same thing with Eric Swalwell. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? We have access now to the most information we have ever had access to in global history ever. If you think that there is something you did in your past that is not going to surface when you decide to run for office, you're out of your goddamn mind. Like, so what's the plan? Like, that's kind of
why I said, like, it's the entitlement of it all. It's this man thinking he's untouchable or not seeing any problem with his behavior, which would be worse. You know, like, why did you throw your hat in the ring to run for Senate if you knew? And don't be fooled. The Democratic Party also probably knew, because because a race of this magnitude, they absolutely ran Oppo research on themselves, or they did a book on him, you know, so like they knew these things, or they knew there was potential. So anyway, I said this last night on the stakes, and I think it stands true. Like, I understand you can't tell someone they can't run for office, but I do think that the Democrats at this point should say you cannot run for office any longer as a Democrat. You will not be a Democrat in this race. And that's because, like, it's unfortunate that there are no standards for conservatives and Republicans, and their party doesn't hold anyone that's elected on their side accountable, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel. And I feel like we should maintain the standards that have been set forth and that should be present when electing someone to an office where there's supposed to be character and integrity involved.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, Trump being elected now, twice has, I think, given especially white men a chance to say, and especially white Democratic men, to say, well, what I did is not as bad, so therefore I should
Yeah.
still be able to
I
pursue
don't have all
this.
those
And it's like,
felonies. I don't have all
that
those
is a
bankruptcies.
really bad way of thinking. Like,
I don't have 3 wives, one of which I may or may not have killed. What?
fully, like,
I didn't bury one of them in my garden. What do you
that
mean?
is the thought process. Like, and you're just like, hang on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's not do that, Democrats. No
Yeah. I
thanks.
just kind of feel like that story is flying under everything else, obviously, that's going on. I mean, how could you know about what's happening with Graham Plattner or our medical records when there's a UFC boxing ring being erected in the lawn of our White House, you know? So,
Jesus Christ. And it's like taller than the White House. I'm like,
and he
God,
said this week, I'm sure just for the reaction of it all, but he's like, maybe we'll leave it. Like they did the Eiffel Tower.
go fuck yourself. Oh
Get
my
away from me.
God.
On a less humorous note, far more serious, our last topic that's flying under the radar is the Manhattan Institute and now
Jesus
their
Christ.
war on protest, aka the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar, the Manhattan Institute, they're a conservative think tank. They have spent decades shaping right-wing policy agendas. They, from all the way back in the 90s, they've driven this national backlash against diversity, equity, inclusion programs. And according to The Wired this week, they're now turning their attention to restricting protest movements through state level legislation. So their new, I'm sure we're about to start seeing this phrase pop up. So if you're paying attention, now start looking for it. Civil terrorism is their new target. So they're advancing the idea that coordinated acts of nonviolent civil disobedience, like blocking roads or protest-related disruptions, maybe trespassing, should be treated as a form of civil terrorism. Under this framework, actions traditionally associated with protest movements could be elevated from misdemeanors to felonies, carrying significant prison time. My first question to them would be, so all the people on video from January 6th.
So the rioters.
So
Cool.
the people who broke the windows of the Capitol, climbed through, killed
And killed someone.
officers.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Cool.
Utah has already passed legislation influenced by the Manhattan Institute. And similar proposals are on their way through Arizona. So
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean,
they don't want us protesting, baby.
It reminds me a lot too of the, like, I think it was early May, about a month ago, the White House released their counterterrorism plan. There was like a new memo about counterterrorism. And again, this was kind of something, again, that went under the radar because everything else at the time was just a shit show per usual. And there's an entire section about sort of domestic terrorists in the form of trans people. And so that is like another form of, like, all of this is that all of these institutions are coming together to figure out, like, who are the quote bad people, the domestic terrorists in the US, and they're just people who have differing opinions. So
every accusation is a confession. Just a reminder.
And it's not limited to just trans people. It's organizations that have the phrasing I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but it's like, organizations that have pro-transgender ideology or language associated with them. So it's fucking stupid. And it's ridiculous. But so that kind of is like what this reminds me of is that entire situation. They're just trying to take anybody who has a differing opinion and what, give you a felony? Cool, great. Our president has a gazillion. And
I know. What difference does it even make anymore? Right,
exactly. Yeah.
My thing is that I think this is, I mean, obviously it's been in the works for a long time. This is the Republicans and these institutions like the Manhattan Institute are really good at slow rolling this kind of policy. So as Tia said in our episode last week, if you haven't listened to it, they're really good at, like, they're sending you down a funnel, and by the
Mhm.
time you get to the place where you're uncomfortable, you realize you can't turn back. And I
Yep.
think this is an example of things like that, right?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
because then it becomes what is there's a lot of questions I would have about then, like, what do they consider, trespassing? What do they consider
Right.
unruly
Yeah.
behavior? And what leeway does that give our police force, our
Mhm.
sheriffs to, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of questions I would have, but also, the attack is on free speech. It's been there in our libraries, it's been there in our educational systems, it's been there now in our press with the four people who
Yep.
own everything. And now they're coming after protests, presumably because No Kings, Indivisible, and all of the partner organizations that have had such huge turnouts over this past year and a half, um, yeah, they've been successful, and they've raised people's consciousness to what's happening with this administration and their plans.
Yeah,
Um, and
definitely.
and I'll be interested to see. Speaking of forms of protest, have you heard? This is my last one. I just thought about this.
I
Have
have a
you?
teeny tiny little one after this. That's a
Okay,
glimmer
okay.
of good
Have
news.
you heard about the DC gays and what they're doing?
Wait, no.
So the
Oh, I'm
UFC
so
fight
excited.
is happening on Sunday, June 14th, in front of the White House. That is Donald Trump's birthday, also Flag Day, also Father's Day, by the way.
Oh,
All of those
yeah.
things. It's all happening on the lawn of the White House. And so all the gays decided, if that man wants to be gay, we'll make it an event. So they all got tickets. And they're like showing up and making it like a pride event.
That is incredible
Yeah.
material.
So if you haven't also seen, there are like all these supercuts of him going around now, him being Trump, where he's talking about how hot men are. Like all the speeches he's given at the military academies, him talking to
Yeah.
the UFC fighters, talking about their bodies and how hot they are and whether or not they're handsome. So people are super cutting that together and saying Happy Pride.
That's incredible. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
What,
I
what's
can't
your
wait to
what's your
see.
last thing flying under the
Yeah,
radar?
my last thing that happened this week. We had a few more state primaries that happened. And Iowa was one of those, my home state. So, Rob Sand won the Democratic nomination for governor. Very excited about that. I worked for the Iowa Democratic Party in 2018 when he was running for auditor, and he was really lovely and very nice. Um, and shameless plug to Rob's team, we are trying to get him on the podcast. So let us know.
Come on
Um,
over.
yeah, please
And
make
we do have
time
some
in the
exciting guests
schedule.
coming up.
And we do. Yes, we do.
Hmm.
Um, so he won. And then, maybe more importantly, the Trump backed candidate who was running for the Republican nomination, Randy Feenstra, lost. So, so that's very exciting. And then Josh Turek won for senator, which I'm very excited about. I had the chance to speak with him very briefly the other day, and he is a delight. So, yeah, I'm super excited for the people of Iowa. I'm very excited for my home state. I hope that everything goes well in November. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Ooh.
a little bit
Well,
of
I'll
happy
just give
news.
one more little update then. If you all were listening to the episode we had with Dakari Lariat from Alabama, who is running for Senate,
Yeah.
he is in the runoff for the Senate seat here in Alabama on the Democratic side, Democratic nomination. He came in second. So he's in a runoff, and his opponent's family just endorsed him. T.
Shut the
Alabama is
fuck up.
messy right now. So
Oh
we
my
have two men
God.
running for the Democratic nomination for Senate, and one man was endorsed by his opponent's family. Speaking of
That's
character and integrity,
incredible.
apparently the man who technically by votes, won, that didn't get the
Mhm.
percentage, but Everett West, yeah, his family came forward and said he's a bad man. Basically, he stole our inheritance. He
Fuck.
forged signatures on documents. He lied to us, and he has no character. He has no integrity, and he should not be a senator. And they endorsed his opponent.
T. Oh
T.
my God. Wow. That's crazy.
Isn't that
I
wild?
am really excited for this runoff
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think when this whole thing started, no one knew who Dakari was. They
Yeah.
didn't take his campaign seriously. There was no thought ever that he would be, in the front runner position. And this last little piece of cherry on top of
That
the
is
pie.
wild. Well, that is something
We'll
you
see.
never want happening when you're running for office is your
But
family
again, it's like these
endorsing.
men who decide to run, who think like it's the grand platter
Yeah.
of it all. Did you not think that somebody would come forward and say, hey, my brother stole my inheritance. We hate him.
Right. Exactly.
Also,
Yeah.
how bad do you have to be as a human for your entire family to be like, no?
Yeah, and for like your whole family, like not
Yeah.
just like
All your
one
siblings.
person.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dark. Yeah.
Crazy town USA.
Anywho,
Mhm.
well, what a week! What a week! We'll be back next week with even more goodies, and we've got a very exciting guest coming up for next week. So stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you then, folks.